Just in, President Biden lashing out at a reporter with some rather colorful language just moments ago during a meeting about inflation. Reporters peppered Biden with questions about Ukraine. And growing increasingly frustrated with the line of questioning, he said this in response to a reporter's question about inflation's impact on the midterm elections. The reporter, we should note, is from Fox.
Do you think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
So just to spell it out, let me bring in CNN's Caitlin Collins, who was just in the room when that happened. So Peter Doocy from Fox says, do you think inflation is a political liability in the midterms? And Biden says to himself, as if he doesn't know there's a microphone there, no, it's a great asset, more inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
And Jake, we should note, this is a meeting that the president was having with top members of his administration, his cabinet in the room for this competition council. And actually, when he had finished wrapping up his remarks, and then he was about to move on to his aides to make their remarks as they were going to go around the room, and the press was leaving the room, I asked the president about his call earlier today with the European leaders on this unfolding crisis that's happening in Ukraine. And he actually complained, saying that he wanted the questions to be about what was happening and about this meeting and the purpose of the meeting and the fact that it was on this competition council. And so then it was when Peter Doocy from Fox News asked him about inflation being a political liability. Of course, that is something we do know Democrats are worried about, it being a political liability for them. Clearly, the president did not like that question and responded in kind. This is something that, of course, the White House has talked about, that inflation is a problem for them. And while there are limited things they can do to try to get it under control, they've tried to take steps to do that. It's at a 40-year high. It has thwarted some of their biggest policy goals, including when Senator Manchin said over the Christmas break he wasn't going to vote and move ahead with the president's domestic agenda, with that climate and economic bill, because of inflation in part. And so I think all of that has played into that. Clearly a question that the president did not want to answer. And we should note, he was speaking on a microphone. He had just made remarks to the room for about 10 or so minutes on this competitive council that they have formed here at the White House, and it seemed pretty clear he knew he was on a mic, Jake.